Alright, removing the camera lens cap. Removing the caps from the lens. Screwing the lens on. Hand tighten only. Place the V-block riser. And place the V-block. And before tightening, place the cutter shaft in place. Check this for squareness. And tighten the V-block. There's 2 hand wheels with a 2mm hex wrench. There's 2 screws in each hand wheel. Put the wrench in there, in the hole. Slide it on. Do not bottom out the hand wheel to the hood. Leave about a 1/2 millimeter gap. Screw that on both ones, just finger tight. There's one to do here and one to do over here. Okay, install the focus tool, pull the strap tight, let it clip. Rotate the shaft until the focus tool is approximately level. Why we're doing this is to find the focal plane through the center of this particular shaft diameter so the camera will always focus on the same place and give repeatable measurements. Once the focus tool is installed, we'll adjust the camera to where it's above the focus tool. Once it's above the focus tool, we'll adjust the lens to where the image is clear on the monitor at the inside point of the focus tool. Then we'll adjust the radial axis to where it's in focus at the outer edge of the focus tool. And at this point, we rotate the shaft until that outer point is in focus, right there. And we come back in with the radial axis to the original point again, and verify that the original point is also still in focus. Once the focus tool is installed and the lens has been adjusted, the focus of the lens should be set so that this part of the focus tool, point A, and this part, point B, are both in focus at the same time. Once this is set and the lens is adjusted, the lens should never be changed again unless the diameter of the shaft changes. At that point, this entire sequence should be repeated. In order for ProStand to operate properly, the shaft must be aligned to the horizontal crosshair on the LCD display. So in order to do that, we may have to adjust the V-block forward and backward, which then tilts the shaft at an angle. Using the slides, adjust the image until the shaft is up to or even with the horizontal line of the crosshair. And what we're going to do is then move the horizontal line, the horizontal slide, axial slide, and see if it's even. And in this case, it's not. So in order to fix that, we need to adjust one of the V blocks. In this case, I'm going to adjust this one to start. Once you make an adjustment, you need to repeat the entire operation. So again, we adjust the slides until the edge of the shaft is even with the horizontal line of the crosshair. Then we dial the wheel on the axial adjustment, the axial slide, and see if it stays co-planar with the edge. Get the lines collinear with the edge of the shaft. We move our axial slide along the length of the shaft. As long as the line stays on the edge of the shaft, we're all set. Now we need to program the digital display, the actual measurement readout for the radius of the cutter shaft. First operation to do for that is to adjust the radial slide until it's equal or onto the edge of the shaft. If you know the radius of your cutter shaft, you can then key it into the display. If not, you can measure the shaft with a very precise measuring tool for diameter, then divide that diameter by 2 and key in the radius. In order to program the digital display for the radial dimension, first thing we need to do is select only the radial axis on the digital display. The way that we do that is press the select key twice. When the R is flashing, that indicates the radial dimension is available for changes. So right now we want to program the display for the radius of this particular cutter shaft. The easiest way to do that is to zero the display and then use the plus key to increment to the appropriate value. In this case, my cutter head shaft is 23 millimeters in radius. The longer you hold the plus or the minus key, the faster the display will scroll. Once the radial dimension is entered, press the select key, and then further presses of the 0 or the minus keys will not have an effect. The heavy-duty model of ProStand needs to have cutter heads loaded either by crane or by hand. Once the tool is loaded, the gantry can be positioned for measurement. There's a lock on the front of the gantry that you just overcome by pushing. You slide the gantry back until it locks audibly into place in the back. To program a 0 point for the axial slide, the first step is to come to the display, press the select key to enable access to the axial slide. When selected, the A for the axial slide will be flashing. Now to set a 0 point, you merely need to press 0. Press select twice, and you're all set. ProStand can also be used for checking knife alignment. In this case, we've intentionally misaligned the knives to demonstrate this. Once a particular feature is found on the display, the cutter head can be rotated very easily to compare the next knife. In this case, you can readily see that the knife is not properly placed, and it can actually test and measure how far it is using the digital readout. One of the unique features of the accurate technology ProStand is the ability to view the knife edge in real-time video. This allows for inspection of the grind quality and also the knife edge. In this case, we're comparing this knife to the next one, and you can plainly see the next one has very visible damage. The knife is actually chipped and is probably not usable. In order to measure a particular feature for dimension, you need to position the feature on either the vertical or the horizontal crosshair. For instance, measure the tip of this knife We position that on the horizontal crosshair. That'll give us our radial dimension of that point. To find an axial dimension, we just adjust the axial slide till the point of entrance is even with the vertical line when we take our axial measurement. The crosshair image can also be adjusted on the digital display. We can turn the crosshair off altogether and turn it back on. We can adjust the line for color, white or black or anywhere in the middle. And we can also adjust the line from a hatched line to a solid line. Another unique feature of the Accurate Technology ProStand is the ability to measure an arc. The way that you measure an arc is you press the display button on the digital display until you get to arc measurement, and you just follow the prompts. It says press select to begin. Now we need to locate our first point of the arc. So we adjust our wheels until we're on the first point of the arc. We press select when done. Now it says locate the second point, and press select when done. And then locate the third point and press select again. Now the digital display has computed that the arc radius in this case is 3.72 millimeters. We can press select and it'll tell us the arc center points, both for axial and radial. You press select again and it'll show you the arc length. When you press select again, it begins another arc measurement function. If you don't wish to do another arc measurement, you can press the display key again and go back to the axial, the radial, or both measurements. If you have the additional printer for the ProStand, you can simply press the print key on the digital display and it will send to the printer the axial and radial dimension.